China is prepared to lead the boom. Papo Coin Channel. Hello lovely humans. Last night, the cryptocurrency market experienced a slight decline following 2 incredible days. As you can see from the bubbles here, there is some red present, along with some large green bubbles. But for the most part, we are seeing reddish what's down here behind me because there is still some green. XLM had a great day and therefore so did XRP. Disclaimer, I did engage in some little XLM swing trading, correct? I believe I mentioned that to you last night. It's really lovely there. However, XRP did retreat. We'll discuss what transpired there. Bitcoin somewhat retreated. Overall, the cryptocurrency market experienced a slight decline. We'll examine the supremacy of Bitcoin. We'll observe the situation. First, though, I would like to briefly review the events of the previous several weeks, including this week. As a result, the Trump-Elon Musk conflict intensified. I'm not sure if you recall that occurring. The BBB, the large exquisite bill, was passed by Congress. Musk declared his intention to form an American party. President Trump demands a historic rate reduction of 300 bps. As the stock market surges to a new all-time high, the U.S. FHFA director says Fed Powell is thinking about stepping down. In terms of money, Bitcoin is also reaching a new all-time high. We are still behind where we were in January in terms of GBP, pound, and euro. Naturally, given that the dollar has somewhat depreciated during the last few months, that might occur shortly. We are witnessing it in relation to the US dollar because of this. Overall, though, it was a wonderful week, right? If we take another look at XRP after 2 weeks, we did pull back from the day's peak at 296. We retreated here into the night, essentially until 1:30 p.m. my time. After that, we had a pleasant recuperation. Since then, it has been gradually retracted while solidifying. Here you can observe comparable activity to that of Bitcoin's consolidation. After there was a lot of activity for meme coins over the last day and a half, we're seeing outside of Pengu that actually did pull back a little bit as well, but the meme coins haven't been doing great. The 130 area came back a little bit, but the price of Bitcoin has been stuck at this 117 and has fluctuated between 117 and a 118. That's what we've been stuck for since last night. It will be interesting to see what happens. You call it the layer ones, the safer ones, and so on, and it appears that money is coming in a little bit more. And somewhat unrelated to meme coins, we observe a cycle in which money sort of comes in and goes out. Additionally, there are days when the layer coins are hot and days when the meme coins are hot. For example, yesterday, Cardano, XLM, and of course HBR and XRP were all moving well. Prior to then, we had of course Bonk, Floki, and meme coins that were running in Bret, Shib, Doge, and Pepe, but not at the same rate. Veracity and Pengu, on the other hand, were running quite well in the previous few days. Therefore, a lot of things have been going on. You will experience ups and downs, but there are always opportunities to make money. As though I'm still awake. I'm down on where I was when we hit the peak here, but I'm down from where I was 2 or 3 days ago, right? You mean yesterday? I'm still down from here, but I've obviously become a lot better than I was 2 or 3 days ago. Therefore, perspective is crucial. I've discovered this particularly since I've been traveling this path for some time, and I adore this meme. I've been lucky with cryptocurrency over the last 5 years, adds Lark. It's been really difficult to listen and jump through all the hoops and smacks. The market has been doing well for a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month or so, and then it hasn't been doing so well. Trading has been challenging. You know, it's been difficult to make the videos. What are you able to do? You can see it in the comments. People are criticizing you, saying things like, oh, you're down significantly from the highs. Of course, some people have been in XRP since 50 cents and have been watching the channel since then, but there are also a lot of new people and people who bought near the highs, and they're not that far off from the highs. For those who are saying, oh, you know XRP is down, why do you keep talking about it? It's back up right now, and many LARPs and tourists are coming back. They will soon pretend to be out-of-season originals. During the lowest points of the year, Czech was truly here in the trenches with you, holding the line. We were here when it was most necessary to leave, right? However, it's amusing. I filmed a video a few days ago, if you recall, and my microphone malfunctioned, so you were unaware of this. After that, I had to cut it down to 8 minutes. For those of you who witnessed, as I indicated in the original video, I noticed that the market was getting a little hotter, that XRP was rising, and that Bitcoin was also rising a little. Additionally, I noted that because XRP wasn't doing well, you're likely to encounter influencers who haven't been talking about it, or who have talked about it but briefly paused to discuss other topics before abruptly returning. As I stated in that video, my videos receive between 200,000 and 300,000 views when you start watching them. This is roughly 10 times because, as I previously mentioned, videos of XRP were receiving between 2,000 and 3,000 views back here when we were at 50 cents, but now they receive between 20 and 30,000 views. Therefore, if you see me receiving between 200 and 300,000 views, we may be nearing the peak. Please take note of that. You see, I have a pretty face and I have some funny dad jokes, and provide you with the information. Of course, I would never advise you to purchase, sell, or hold. This is not financial advice. Always conduct your own research before making an investment. I just have this YouTube channel and my Twitter account, which are linked here on the page. Please be extremely cautious online. Additionally, keep in mind that scammers will never contact you on social media to beg you to sign up for anything or send me money. However, I am well aware of my extreme good looks. However, if we see 200,000 or 300,000 views, it may be getting near to the cycle's high, so just be aware of that. In other words, I stated it on the video that was viewed, but it was ultimately cut off because my microphone malfunctioned. Once more, it has been difficult. There have been and will continue to be ups and downs. There will be highs and lows as well as valleys. In several cases, I was on the verge of being fired from my job, and I quickly closed it, had a short break and then returned. After that, I was saved when the market moved up on me. However, there were also instances in which I lacked the capability. For instance, I didn't have the proper precautions in place, so I went to sleep and was abruptly liquidated. And for the last 2 or 3 years, with all of its ups and downs, I have learned a great deal. And so will you. It will simply require time. There will be some errors on your part. There will be some successes for you. There will be highs and lows. My portfolios have been at their peak. My portfolio has been at its lowest points. I've erred. As I grow older and gain more knowledge and experience, I aspire to make fewer and fewer mistakes. Trading is the same thing as life itself. Therefore, don't expect to make individual specialists in a single day. No, it requires effort. It requires commitment. It requires suffering. And I've experienced a lot over my life, not just in the realm of cryptocurrency, in life. It adds a little bit to the journey, Thus, and it's unbelievable if we go back and see where we were only a year ago. Correct. I wanted to share with you this brief video clip of Cynthia Loomis discussing where we were a year ago and where we are now. Naturally, the aim of all of this is to establish America as the global center of cryptocurrency. And as my next guest, Senator Cynthia Loomis, I can say that I have done everything in my power to make it a reality. And I must say, Senator, it's been nothing short of extraordinary. I would like to know if you could have predicted even a year ago the extent and speed of this crypto adoption on Capitol Hill compared to where we are today. Charles was unable to. The banking committee we were dealing with hadn't released any legislation in 7 years. In the 8th year, we introduced and successfully passed the Genius Act. In addition to legislation aimed at preventing central bank digital money, the House is also introducing laws pertaining to market structure. This is serious business. It has also been a long time in the making. This sector is developing. Now is the moment. Naturally, the ultimate objective of all of this is to establish America as the global center of cryptocurrency. Crypto Week begins on July 14th. Thus, this week is going to be huge once more. It will begin in a few days. Now, this might be one of the causes of the massive influx of capital into the market. We won't say no thank you, even though there might be other reasons at work, like large money moving in. However, if we go back to where we were a year ago, the scenario is completely different, particularly for XRP, but it's simply incredible.